It's a ferry, and Plan B arrows are generally associated with hitting something kind of hard. But I'm starting to see something else in the Plan B situation, which is maximum penetration is also a Plan B situation. If you go the long way on a severe quartering shot, the more things you puncture, the better off you are. So that's what this is about. Plan B, the long way. Talking about the long Plan B, which is when you hit a severe quartering shot on any animal, maybe back behind the, into the guts, but it's traveling forward and could possibly exit the neck. That's a Plan B situation too, because if you have reduced penetration, you may have organs that remain unhit. It's possible for the broadhead to never get to the vital organs. You may hit guts and stomach and liver and nick the diaphragm on 10 or 12, 14 inches of half an arrow of penetration. It looks pretty good, but the broadhead never got to the vital organs. Shots back here generally assume the liver hit is a 3 to 4 hour deal. It's not going to bleed. There will be no blood trail if you were to catch them back here, puncture the stomach, and then hit just to the liver. Lethal, yes. How long it'd take to find them, or if you'll find them, or if they'll bleed. You're really, really, really hoping. What you would need is that broadhead to keep going. So that's what this Plan B discussion's about. And I have an example from one of my subscribers who shot a pig actually in the ham. Here's a picture of the entry wound. Severe quartering. The arrow was upper 500s. I think it was 580. He's obviously got a 2-blade broadhead that's sharp, and you can see the exit. There's like 14 or 16 inches of arrow or more sticking out the front of the pig. They got the full send on that one. So hang on, I'm going to expand on that and show you what happened, because this gentleman was kind enough to send me a necropsy video. It's rather efficient and short, but it shows what the broadhead hit. And then I'm going to get out the famous pig diagram and discuss the travel distance and the total penetration path, so I'm going to call it, compared to not penetrating further, and discuss around that what organs are being punctured as it goes through. Hang on. Okay, I apologize. The audio didn't come through. He sent me the clip a couple of times when we tried to get it done, so I'm going to talk over what I see here with a couple of freeze frames. We see the entry wound in the ham, and obviously he gutted the pig. That's the heart, and it got hit twice. That's the ventricles, the lower part of the heart, and here's the upper part of the heart, and that is the major arteries feeding the heart, and the trachea severed. He also hit the liver twice. So we know that the arrow penetrated through, and I see some lung damage off in the left there, but he wasn't able to capture that. But there's the entry wound, and here's the exit in the neck. Pretty nasty full send. So I'm going to use my fetal pig example that I've used in a bunch of other videos to orient you to what I'm talking about. I've cut the pig in half. So in this picture right here, you see the pig is divided in half with a black line. The upper half is maximum lethality, lungs, heart, big arteries, all the stuff we all talk about on a broadside shot or a quartering, less severe quartering away shot as being lethal and providing the shortest blood trail, and then the shortest tracking distance is what I call it. If you don't get a blood trail and you double lung them and hit the heart, they're not going far. So even if you don't get a blood trail, you're probably going to find them. The bottom half of this is the guts, okay? And that arrow went into the ham. We saw the picture earlier, and then went through the guts. He didn't show the large intestine, etc., but it was in the way of the arrow's travel. So went through the large intestine, probably went through the stomach, because I know where the liver's at, and it's forward up near the diaphragm. So it had to travel through that to get to the liver, and then get to the diaphragm. I'm going to spitball this pig by looking at it, that it was about 20 inches from the impact point on the ham, outside the ham, it went on the outside in the meat and then went into the front of the ham. It's about 20 inches to the diaphragm. Okay, now, for all the trolls and haters and naysayers who don't put out any effort pulling the lint out of their navel and slamming on all the YouTube guys who are trying to help, because I'm trying to make a point here that you probably ought to conceptualize. And it's a valid point because you might take a really severe quartering shot on something big like an elk or a nilgai or a caribou or a moose where you need the arrow to travel 4 feet of animal to get to the front and really puncture all the vital organs in the front. I don't know who's going to hate on me for that, but some idiot will. So put your comments below and I will kick you right in the head, because it's just physiologic facts. If the broadhead punctures and if the broadhead travels in front of the diaphragm and hits the heart and lungs and exits the neck, it's way better than it going halfway into the animal, into guts and hitting the liver and barely getting there. It's just physiology. You can believe what you want to, because these days we don't want to offend anybody. I'm offending you. If you think you're that smart that just a gut shot's fine, half an arrow's fine, wow, I can't have much help for you there. All right, to reset. Broadhead to diaphragm, I'm spitballing at 20 inches from the impact of the ham, which was pretty far back and on the outside, to the diaphragm, looking at that pig, about 20 inches of penetration just to get to the diaphragm. The diaphragm is basically where that black line is. Here's that picture again of the good part and the less lethal part, like dividing the pig into hemispheres. You go from there, and I don't know if the femoral artery is hit. I've already covered that. If you hit the femoral artery, here's a graph for you haters and guys who shoot the big wide mechanicals with 3 inches of penetration. If you got 3 inches of penetration with any broadhead on earth and you hit the femoral artery only, the pig is down. It's just a mathematical problem. It's better to hit possibly femoral artery, hit the guts, hit the liver, hit the diaphragm, hit the lungs, hit the heart, and then exit in the neck where you may cut more arteries off and do damage to 7 or 8 different organs than it is to pray. Pray that you hit the femoral artery, because I know I'll get some comments that said, I shot him in the ham, and every time I shoot him in the ham, it just kills him dead. And I shoot a 5-inch wide mechanical. And that's why, because that way I shoot him in the ham, and it'll make it bleed. I just don't know a lot of people that are aiming back there. If your arrow flight's so bad that it goes like this, you shoot a 4-inch wide mechanical, and so it does a loop and hits them in the ham every time, and that's working for you, I don't care. But man, aiming at something that's about this wide, or getting the idea that a broadhead's job is to penetrate everything it can and exit the body of the animal, which is the maximum penetration path, that just seems to make more sense. Hit 7 or 8 organs as opposed to pray for one artery that's this wide. I don't know. I have shot a couple of animals in the hams and hit them weird, and they spun on me on a quarter-inch shot like that, and it is lethal generally speaking. But it's not where I'm aiming. So, okay, good on that. Okay, so I hope you got the concept that your goal is to shoot an adult arrow that's properly tuned and shoots where it's supposed to, because this guy didn't miss. The pig was quartering away. He hit right where he was aiming. It just had to go the long way to get through. And if half an arrow would have got in there, he'd have had, probably never found the pig, but he went through the neck, and just to let you know, the pig went 10 yards or something. It hit it, and the pig went immediately down. That's way better than wrestling around and going through the briars, looking for rattlesnakes and getting all poked by stuff. Hey, if you're interested in this adult arrow thing, the only company out there that would play along with the fairy and provide kits and setups, arrows, totally fletched ranch fairy arrows is what you should probably end up with. A test kit, great inserts, great shafts, 3 different models, and broadheads in adult size that are hand sharpenable. The whole arrow system is Serious Archery. You go to the Ranch Fairy store. And in that crazy store where the Ranch Fairy face is, so go to Sirius, you click on my face and go in the Ranch Fairy store. It's the only company out there offering higher forward of center arrows. Got the kits, got the arrows, got the broadheads, and they're branded under the Ranch Fairy brand supporting me. So I appreciate it if you've bought Ranch Fairy arrows or if you choose to buy some in the future. Helps me get some gas money to keep doing this stuff. And woo! Gas is pushing $4 in Texas. Some of you people in the other parts of the country are really dying. Anyway, it's not getting any cheaper to make videos. So support the channel that way. And don't forget to donate to the Ashby Bow Hunting Foundation. Rob Nielsen has a 1,200 grain 32% arrow teed up for a hippo. And they're going to shoot a hippo and then test arrows and broadheads on a hippo this summer. And he'll randomly plunk another Cape Buffalo or two just for fun. A hippo? Who's doing that? Nobody. What the foundation, of course, is doing that. Because we're trying to test on giant critters that will, stop an arrow. You can't measure penetration if the arrow doesn't get caught. Rob's planning to shoot completely through a hippo and exit. So that's the plan. That would be unbelievable. Super awesome. But after that, they'll plunk some different arrow systems into a hippo, and then we can measure the penetration and see what happens. It's going to be super cool. That's what the foundation's about. And we are continuing to study at the foundation with compounds, because there's a lot of chatter out there and a bunch of haters and idiots who've never read the study who said, well, that old Ed Ash was shooting the old stick bow. He probably doesn't know anything about physics or geometry. That kind of stuff, work, aerodynamics, arrow tuning or nothing. It's a stick bow. It's the stupidest thing in the world. It's super slow and inefficient. And so that makes him kind of an idiot because he didn't do a compound. Well, guess what? We're back and we're testing with compounds. So the first study, go to the Ashby Bow Hunting Foundation website, ashbybowhunting.org. Look under supplemental reports. And there is a study from 2021 where Rob Nielsen, the president of the foundation, was plunking arrows into Cape Buffalo and testing with a compound, and one of them was somewhere around 83 pounds. So you suckers that say, low poundage, Ed Ashby's bows are slow, long bows aren't efficient, blah, blah, blah. Well, those weren't. Of course, we had a lady, shooting 38 pounds at 25 inches, I think, and her arrows in the, right around 30% forward to center, and she put 5 arrows to the fletch into broadside shots on a downed Cape Buffalo bull and got 5 consecutive shots into the chest wall, and the arrow penetrated to the opposite chest wall, shooting 38 pounds at 20 yards. So some of you willy whackers out there that can't shoot through a deer, well, woo! Hey, we have a solution for you. AshbyBowhunting.org and Sirius Archery. Click on my face. We'll get you some good toys, some adult arrows. Let's roll. See ya.